You are sitting beside a fire at the end of a long day, when someone reaches for you, and in that moment the question is not about babies. It is about comfort, trust, desire, and the strange fact that your body wants closeness simply because it feels good. That leads to a very modern question: did ancient humans have sex only to reproduce, or also for pleasure? The honest answer is that we cannot know exactly what someone felt 100,000 years ago. Desire does not fossilize, pleasure leaves no stone tool behind. There is no cave painting labeled love life, but your body, your brain, and the social structure of ancient human life still leave clues, and those clues point in a very interesting direction. If sex in humans were only about reproduction, you would expect it to happen mainly, and conception was likely. But human sexuality does not work that way. Unlike many mammals, human females are sexually receptive across the cycle, not only during a brief visible heat. That alone suggests something unusual. Human sex became partly detached from a single reproductive moment. Another clue is concealed ovulation. In many animals, males can see or smell exactly, and a female is fertile. In humans, fertility is much less obvious. Researchers like Helen Fisher and others have argued that this may have helped keep partners close over longer periods, because intimacy was not limited to a few obvious fertile days. It could continue throughout daily life. Your brain also matters. Human sex activates reward systems involving dopamine, oxytocin, and other chemicals linked to pleasure, attachment, and bonding. Those systems are not pointless extras. They shape behavior. If something feels good, you repeat it. If it also deepens trust and pair bonding, it can help two adults stay connected long enough to raise very demanding children. That is important because ancient human children were expensive. They grew slowly, depended on adults for years, and needed food, protection, carrying, teaching, and constant attention. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hurdy has written extensively about how human childhood encouraged deep social cooperation. In that world, intimacy was not just private fun. It may have helped hold together the relationships that kept children alive. Some evolutionary researchers, including Sion Lovejoy, have argued that pair bonding and food sharing were major forces in human evolution. His model is debated, but the core idea remains influential. If a male and female stayed connected longer, offspring had better odds. In that case, pleasurable sex would be more than reproduction. It would be one of the tools that helped maintain that bond. Comparisons with other primates add another clue. Chimpanzees use sex in a strongly competitive social world, while bonobos are famous for using sexual behavior to reduce tension, build alliances, and smooth social contact. Humans are not chimpanzees, and we are not bonobos either. But these comparisons show that in primates, sex can do much more than make babies. It can also organize society. That possibility becomes even more interesting in ancient camps. Life was stressful, food could fail, children cry. Predators circled, strangers appeared. Under that pressure, any behavior that helped adults feel attached, calm conflict, or reaffirm trust would be valuable. Pleasure is not a trivial detail in that setting. It can be part of the mechanism that keeps a partnership or a household functioning. This does not mean every ancient group was the same. Human social systems are flexible. Some groups may have expected strong pair bonds. Others may have tolerated looser arrangements. Some may have linked sex closely to marriage, exchange, or status. Others may have treated it more casually. The key point is not one universal rule. It is that human sexuality was almost certainly more social and more complex than simple reproduction. There are also indirect clues in body ornament and display. At sites like Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found shell beads and pigment use associated with symbolic behavior. Beads do not prove flirting. Ochre does not prove romance. But they do show that early humans cared about appearance, display, and social signaling. Once people decorate bodies, attraction and courtship become hard to ignore. And attraction was probably not only about physical looks. In a prehistoric world, a desirable partner may have been someone healthy, generous, skilled, funny, brave, calm under pressure, or connected to a supportive family. If sex also brought pleasure, then it could reinforce attraction that was already based on survival value. In other words, desire may have helped ancient humans choose and keep useful social partners. Jealousy also hints that sex carried emotional weight beyond reproduction. If people formed attachments, they could also fear losing them. That does not prove romantic love in the modern sense, and it does not prove monogamy everywhere. But it does suggest that sexual relationships were tied to trust, investment, and social consequences. Things that matter emotionally are rarely treated as mere biology. At the same time, we have to be careful. We should not project modern dating culture onto the Paleolithic. There were no restaurants, no texting, no privacy in the modern sense. Sex would have existed inside harsh practical realities, sleeping close to others, caring for children, managing injuries, dealing with hunger, and living under group norms. Ancient pleasure would not have looked exactly like modern pleasure. We also should not imagine ancient humans as either hyperromantic or purely instinctive. Both images are too simple. They were people with bodies like yours, but lives very unlike yours. They likely felt desire, comfort, embarrassment, attraction, rejection, and attachment. Yet the meanings attached to those feelings would have been shaped by survival, kinship, and the rules of each band or community. So did ancient humans have sex for pleasure? The safest answer is yes, almost certainly, but not only for pleasure. Human biology strongly suggests that sex became linked to bonding, reward, and long-term cooperation, not just fertilization. Researchers cannot prove every motive in every encounter, yet the broader pattern points to a species in which intimacy helped do important social work. That is the counterintuitive part. Pleasure may have been one of the reasons humans became such deeply social creatures. It may have helped keep adults near each other, encouraged care for offspring, reduced conflict, and supported cooperation in tiny vulnerable groups. Something that feels intensely personal may also have shaped the survival of our species at the social level. Picture a small camp at night. The fire is low, children are asleep. The world outside is dangerous, cold, and uncertain. Inside the circle of light, two people lean toward each other, not because a calendar says it is the right time to conceive, but because touch can mean warmth, reassurance, attraction, and a promise, however fragile, that they are facing the dark together. In that sense, ancient sex may have been surprisingly modern. Not modern in style, not modern in rules, but modern in one basic way. It was probably about more than reproduction, it was about connection. And connection is one of the oldest survival tools humans ever had. If you enjoyed this journey into the distant past, subscribe for more stories about ancient humans and human evolution.